With the roar of the chariots and wheels, your walls tremble. 1274 BC. The Battle of Kadesh begins, the Battle of the Chariots. Ramses II, Pharaoh of Egypt and master of the dark arts, marches with his army of around 20,000 warriors against the great Hittite Empire, numerous Anatolian Syrian kings under the military alliance of the Hatti. After reaching Kadesh via the Gaza Strip, he tortured captured prisoners to obtain the necessary information about the border system near Kadesh and the stationed reinforcements that would come to the aid of the city fortress of Kadesh in an emergency. He then attacked the Hatti reinforcement camp to the left of Kadesh. Scouts noticed his intrusion and the enemy garrison formed up in front of the border fortress to confront the pharaoh. 5,000 warriors, early cavalry and heavy chariots on the flanks rounded out the Hittite division. Ramses could hardly wait for the battle and with Ammonius' division, with his 2,000 light chariots, left the other divisions behind. He immediately plunged into battle. When the Egyptian horses and chariots met the Hittite front line, it held its ground. The Egyptian chariots were made of flexible wooden material and tied together with string. They weren't meant for a rush. The pharaoh called a retreat and regrouped. His strength was his arrows, especially the ones with scorpion venom. Meanwhile, the Hittite elite, using heavy chariots, are trying to advance through the flanks into the center. These were less maneuverable and consisted of wooden planks nailed together with deadly sickles on the wheels. Spear throwers manned the wooden wagons. Ramses formed his band and swerved over the right flank, where he attacked the Hittite elite and unleashed a hail of arrows. Finally, he blew over the middle to attack for the second time. He rode as fast as the wind. His band of chariots had to stay close together. The chariots themselves weighed nothing, bounced off each other but stayed on track. The horses themselves were his weapon. When breaking through the enemy infantry lines, they bit off the enemy's ears, fingers, and noses. A carrot could save your life at that time. But there are no carrots in this area. He stormed the center again, breaking through the infantry ranks and driving the enemy warriors to flight. Fear is like a virus once it infects a person. His chariots, once in motion, drove their weight deep into the enemy center and smashed the opposing infantry warriors. The sheer number of chariots, the light platforms, just under 50 kilos, slammed into the enemy's left and right and knocked over everything in their path. Egyptian warfare was, shall we say, civilized. Like great rulers, the pharaohs shied away from direct contact with the dirty, preferring to ride their fast mobile combat platforms close to their enemies and then shoot them with arrows. But here in Syria, a different music was playing. While the Egyptian pharaoh led his division of Ammonius forward through the middle of the enemy battle line, the Hittite elite chariots approached from the flanks, over an arch, from behind. The Battle of Kadesh represents the largest chariot battle of its time. But this is only the beginning. Of the multitude of his horses their dust shall cover you, your walls will shake with the noise of horsemen and wheels and chariots when he enters your gates, as one enters a city full of breaches. Ammonius' division was put to the test. There was a mighty clash between the chariot armies. The Hittite chariots came heavy and hard. A front formed. Horses attacked horses. The sickles danced through the night. Arrows were shot and spears flew through the air. But the ratio was 1-to-5 in favor of the pharaoh. He had the Hittite chariots surrounded on all sides and in turn attacked them from behind. The enemy had no choice but to retreat. The entire Hittite garrison was severely wiped out. The pharaoh, Ramses II, pursued his enemies into the nearby fortress, which was supposed to act as reinforcement for the city fortress of Kadesh in the event of an attack. What remained was the first battle of Kadesh, a place of death. Pharaoh lost 30% of his division and continued his campaign. After the devastating victory over the garrison of the reinforcement army stationed in the border fortress to the left of Kadesh, the pharaoh now rushed to the border fortifications to capture and plunder it. The light chariots of the Egyptians' 1st Division, Ammonius' division, pursued the fleeing Hittites to the border fortifications to the left of Kadesh, where the captured, tortured scouts said they were located. The remaining garrison in the fortress tried to flee, but was surprised and destroyed by Ramses and his chariots. Ramses took the camp and plundered it. But Ramses didn't know that there was a second defense. On the other side of the Orontes River, scouts from Kadesh reached the second border fortress on the right of the Orontes River. There, well hidden, lurked the real force of Kadesh. The Hatti kings stationed another border fortress next to Kadesh to repel possible invaders. The legendary Anatolian heavy chariots of death. The kings of Hatti had learned that chariots played no role in city defense. The chariots were a rapid reaction force. So the second camp was well protected behind the Orontes River and could not easily be attacked or overrun. The heavy Hittite chariots were stationed there. Over 1,500 pieces. The Hittite cavalry. The hydra. Heavy wooden slugs with sickle blades on the wheels. Manned with spear thrower. A cloud of dust will cover you as he rolls against you with his vast chariot force. When he enters through the broken gates, the walls will tremble with the noise of the hooves and wheels. The Hittite upper elite. The nobility of the nobility. The Anatolia were small in stature, like dwarves, but powerful. The general of the right border fortress, hearing of the attack, immediately sent scouts north and called for reinforcements. He also sent his elite, 1,500 heavy chariots, the pride of the Hatti. There was only one way to cross the Orontes River with chariots. At Kadesh there were the only bridges to cross the fork of the Orontes with heavy chariots. The Hittite general of the right border fortress ordered the infantry army from Kadesh to cross the Orontes River to the north. In contrast to the heavy chariots, foot soldiers could cross the river anywhere and approach the left border camp occupied by the Egyptians. So the division from Kadesh moved north and then, across the river from the east, attacked the border camps occupied by the Egyptians and destroyed the Egyptians. Meanwhile, the Hittite general and leader of the upper elite, the Hittite chariots, crossed the bridges of Kadesh to the left side of the river. As the Hittite chariots passed through the forest, they encountered the REC Egyptian division. The second division of the Egyptians, the Ethiopian Nubian warrior slaves, wanted to assist their pharaoh as quickly as possible, but were surprised by the approaching Hittite force from the east. 1,500 Hittite chariots crossed the forest of Kadesh and charged from the flank, the 5,000 heavy Egyptian division of Re. It was a massacre. The sickle swords on the wheels of the chariots cut through the night. It got bloody. The second division of the Egyptians resisted, but found that no resistance could be offered. The Egyptian second division was brutally destroyed. The Nubian Ethiopian elite did not retreat. Your warrior dignity instructed you to follow the pharaoh. So the second division of the Egyptians did not flee to the rear, but to the front, to the left border fortress, to their pharaoh. The Ethiopians are world champions in sprinting and could even outrun chariots. Only a few. Few enough to warn Pharaoh, Ramses II. They informed Pharaoh and joined him in defending the left border fortress. The Pharaoh, Ramses II, manned the fortress before the incoming onslaught of the Hittite elite and confronted the attackers. Finding himself in a precarious position, cut off from his divisions, he charged too far forward and found himself isolated from his reinforcements in the middle of enemy territory. The Hittite division of the elite chariots approached Ramses from the southwest, broke through the approaching Egyptian reinforcements, the 5,000-strong division of Re, in a wide arc and struck the decisive blow against the Egyptian pharaoh, Ramses II. The Hittite elite force of 1,500 heavy walking chariots crushed the Egyptian 2nd Division and, in a wide arc from the southwest, approached the war-torn Egyptian 1st Division in the left border fortress under Ramses II. The largest chariot battle of that time took place. Those who were lucky lost an eye,